So Tracy Malcolm, I am the Vice President and General Merchandise Manager of Ladies Apparel, and I've been with the company almost 10 years. Probably my secret sauce, if I think about just even my career even before here, I'm just always curious about what's next. You have to be a curious merchant to be a successful merchant, because you have to be curious about not just what is, but what can be. If you don't elevate and if you don't change, you just become stale. And so you always have to see what's going on around you, because that can easily happen. And when that happens to people, they tend to go out of business. Just when anyone gets stressed is we're not going to get there right away. We want to, but you set your goals up here, because then that's how you grow. Continue to keep the customer, our core customer that we have. We want to keep her happy, but then how do we gain a new customer? And I think that's what we're doing when we keep, layering additional brands or categories or certain fashion sensibilities. That's what we're looking to do. So anyone can shop at Bealls. That's my goal in mind.
I guess first question, I mean, you're a very successful merchant within Bealls. So what is it? What's the secret to become? Because you're a young person, very successful, done a great job, a heck of a merchant for us. So what do you think some of like your secret sauce is?
Secret sauce, I love that. I would say curiosity. Curiosity and drive. It's one of the things I talk a lot about whenever I'm interviewing people or just, talking to my team. I think you have to be a curious merchant to be a successful merchant, because you have to be curious about not just what is, but what can be, and not feel like it's daunting, like a daunting task, because it can easily feel like that for some people. But I think that's probably the secret sauce. I don't, if I really think about it, I never stop working. I'm always thinking about work, just because I'm passionate about it and it's natural. My family knows that if I'm out, at dinner and I see someone with an outfit, I want to see where they got it from, or I want to look at the tag on the back of someone's neck, that sort of thing. And when I'm shopping, those sorts of things. But I'm just always curious about what's next and what can be. So I think that's probably my secret sauce. If I think about just even my career, even before here, that's what it's been.
That's cool. Yeah. I haven't worked in so many different divisions of merchandising in my career. It's always interesting because when I'm with the shoe team, for example, they're always looking down. They're always looking at everybody's shoes. Looking at the pants buyers. They're always checking out what bottoms people are wearing.
You don't even know that you're doing it.
Right.
When I'm shopping with my daughter, she thinks I'm crazy, because not only do I look at everything, but I touch everything. Yeah. So I'll walk by and I just touch. She's like, "Why did you need to touch that?"
Right,
and I'm like, "I don't know.
Right.
I just needed to feel the fabric." It was just, it's just random that you don't even know you're doing it.
Right.
But so it becomes a habit.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Well, let's back up a second and maybe introduction. Just tell people what you do for Bealls.
Sure. So Tracy Malcolm, I am the Vice President and General Merchandise Manager of Ladies Apparel. And I've been with the company almost 10 years.
Wow,
in March,
nice.
It'll be 10 years.
Nice.
Yeah.
I didn't realize it was 10 already. That's really
almost.
Time flies.
It does.
Yeah.
It doesn't really feel that way, but yeah.
Yeah. And where did you start when you came to Bealls? What was your position?
I was the petite buyer.
Right.
Yeah. So I was a petite buyer probably only for 6 months.
Okay.
And then there was an opportunity at the time. They wanted to grow brands and get better brands. And so they wanted to start a couple of departments, and a buyer. So I was the better sportswear buyer, probably about 6 months in. And I did that for about 2 years. And so really enjoyed it. And my background before at Macy's, I bought better sportswear too. So I really enjoyed that. And it was really, just even a full circle moment for me now, seeing how we grew brands. But it was just really interesting because we're really starting from zero. We had maybe just a few brands. So it was really going out there, pounding the pavement, seeing what was out there, calling people, cold calls, that sort of thing. So it was fun.
Yeah,
it was a lot of fun.
Yeah, for sure. So this brand, the attempts to get more branded within Bealls is like a global thing, and elevating the product, and having less off brands and more like national brands. And you guys and ladies have done just a phenomenal job of that over the last couple of years. What have been some of the metrics that have changed, like in terms of brand penetration and what are you tracking for the audience, and how have the numbers changed?
So if I even just go back, let's say years ago when I started, the numbers were probably around 10%, 10, 13%. Then we did grow the business to maybe about 20%. And then we looked at the landscape, looked at our competition, looked everywhere because you want to kind of benchmark yourself and just see how you're doing. And we were falling behind. So we thought if we could get at least to 30%, we could really kind of start to compete and play. And so that's what we were tracking. And so that was the goal. It probably took us 6 months to get to our actual goal of the 30%. But we were making progress all along. We just had to speak to our vendors, people that we weren't already doing business with, and that's how we got there. And that's just the better penetration. When I think about just overall elevation, like you talked about, that number was around 55 penetration for just total brands. So it really wasn't just the better buyers that had to move the needle. It was everyone on the team. And so it was evaluating their assortment. What brands or labels did they need to maybe discontinue that maybe they were good for us, maybe they weren't, but we're just kind of hanging around, just like an old habit or something. And so we just had to, disconnect. But we had conversations with vendors. It was, we were very respectful. We had meaningful conversations, and some of those people were able to elevate with us and offer us different things. And, maybe some people we just had to pause for a while, but we grew that. That was up to about 70%. And, it was probably only 50% the previous year. So it was really a team effort. I mean, it was everyone. It was all the merchants. It was planning. We really had to look at price points and where we wanted to be. And you just have to kind of police yourself and say, I know that this is my goal. And, we can't accept anything. And we just set a new standard for ourselves. And that was really our success in that 6 months. And it took a lot of conversations to get there.
Right.
It wasn't like we just said, okay, this is what we're going to do, and everyone was on board. It was probably conversations every week. Some town halls, like we do our ladies' town halls. We do smaller town halls every month, and so it was conversations and really helping buyers understand the whys behind it. Because it's one thing to come in and say this is what we want to do, but it's another when everyone understands why. And so when everyone kind of got behind it and understood how to do it, it was a pretty, just an amazing and beautiful thing to see everyone get behind.
Yeah, for sure. No, it's tremendous improvement
Yeah.
over just a very short period of time. You mentioned 50 to 70%
Yeah.
in totality, and that is a monumental, massive change
Yes.
in a
Yeah.
year. Don't stop. Don't stop. You got to keep going.
Oh,
with
we're
it.
not. We have more to do because also we have, the One Bealls initiative too. And, we've taken on Bells, Florida, and there's, still work to be done there and transform the business. But we're kind of taking the same approach of the way we had to kind of force it with the plans, force it with the vendors, and still, again, meaningful and respectful conversations, but that's what we're doing today. And you're right, we have new goals. We've added contemporary onto that. Our next is really best brands, those top brands, that are another price point, maybe $20 higher than what our customers used to paying. So it's exciting.
It is exciting.
Yeah. And, back in, 8 years ago, it would have been difficult for us to sell denim over $20,
Right.
but
Right.
we are able to sell it at 40. Even my jeans right now, these are Joe's jeans that I got from our store. And I was so proud that I was able to buy it from our store. But, we're seeing a new customer come in and, she's willing to pay for it because it's still a great value. So, yeah.
Awesome. Yeah, I think a lot of people thought that I was completely crazy when I said we need to drop the outlet from Bells and
The name.
outlet.
Yes.
Yeah. There was a lot of people were like, it's a big change. It's a complete rebrand across. But when it comes to the elevation of the store in totality and our ability to get all of these better and best brands and to, just to elevate the assortment, which is completely necessary if we're going to be competing with the TJs and even Ross is, almost entirely branded,
Yeah.
So has that helped you to make a call because and get better brands, because when we're Bealls Outlet and you're talking to a vendor, and the connotation or that comes along with being Bealls Outlet is historically, for me, from my experience in merchandising, always kind of been, people think it's seconds or closeouts from, Bealls, Florida, or, goods from 4 years ago that are cancellations, and it's like, we're not doing much of that anymore. And so has that change helped the merchants to be able to secure some of these better brands?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
The rebranding set the stage.
Good.
I mean, this all coincided with the rebranding, and it set the stage for the buyers, for their mindset of where we were going in the future, but then also with the vendors. And you want to know something interesting is, before you even rebranded, when I would speak to vendors and call them, I would never say, "Hi, I'm Tracy from Bealls Outlet." I would just say Bealls. I dropped it in my language already, because I could just see, they just kind of get a bad taste in their mouth. So I would drop the outlet when I would speak to them, and then eventually talk about how we're off price, so they knew what type of business we had. But there was something about the name anyway that I was dropping in my language. So it was interesting that you dropped it from the name, and I was like, that's it. That's what we needed all along. And I just didn't even realize it. But it set the stage, and everyone in the market was supportive. Everyone in the market was excited about it. The buyers, so it really helped.
Good.
It helped. And it's interesting. People don't know that about off price. I mean, even my husband, I was ashamed that he was like, "Yeah, isn't it just like, stuff that doesn't fit?" And I'm like, "No, you know what I do, right?"
Right.
No, that's not it. He was like, "Oh, okay." So he just didn't even register. I don't think we know what each other do, really.
Okay.
We don't talk about work that much at home, but I just thought it was interesting that he didn't know, and I had to educate him. But it's true. People don't know, and they think that. And off price has evolved. I mean, years ago it evolved, and so it's just kind of letting everyone know that we evolved too.
Right. Yeah, it's not Ross Outlet or TJ Maxx Outlet. It's and Bealls is now 80% plus of the total business, with Bealls Florida, being a much smaller percentage of it. So it just aligns really nicely and really well, and it just feels like that it's just very synergistic with the overall strategy of enhancing the brands that we have within the store and elevating the entire experience for the guest.
Exactly. And that's the lens that we do everything with.
Right.
We think about the guests and elevating the entire experience. And I think a lot of other divisions in the company did a great job at elevating, probably even before we did, honestly. We did, here and there in certain ways, in accessories and beauty. But I think apparel was probably one of the last to really elevate in the entire store. And we have the front space. So it was a call to action that was much needed, and definitely something I was passionate about, and so many other people on the team were. So it's been great. Yeah.
Good. Yeah. There's a serious sense of urgency from my standpoint about this now, and the continued elevation throughout all of the divisions within the organization. And it really is kind of stemming from when you see now our competition, our key competitors coming into our core markets that are more that are smaller markets, and if we're not able to compete with them from a value and a brand standpoint from the entire store, then that's going to be a problem long term, because the bigger markets are saturated. They're coming into the smaller markets that we've been operating in for a long time very successfully. And so it's just critical that we can compete with them and have the same brands and have the same or better value than they have, and maintain our presence within those markets. So
I agree.
It's just more critical now than ever.
It is. We can't control where everyone goes, so we have to learn how to compete.
Right.
And even just beyond that, if you don't elevate and if you don't change, you just become stale. And so you always have to see what's going around you, what's going on around you, because that could easily happen. And when that happens to people, they tend to go out of business.
Right.
So even just for us to sustain and be around for another 110 years, it's important for us to just see the world around us and see what's happening. And people aren't dressing the same way that of the product that we offered maybe 10, 15 years ago. So
right.
yeah, even from that standpoint.
Yeah. How has it evolved? How do you think that the overall assortment has evolved for Bealls over the last 10 years since you've been here?
Oh, very much.
Yeah.
When I think about, I don't even know if anyone will know what this is, but we used to buy tops with like attached necklaces, and it would be maybe plastic. It's like dying. They're like plastic. It even came with paper on it. So cheap and cheesy looking. But it was like a bestseller. We probably sold it. You just kind of got to stop yourself and say, no, we can't do this anymore.
Right.
So we used to have that on the floor. And I just think about some of the things that we had. And it was, thinking about it now, you just laugh at it.
Yeah.
But it's evolved tremendously. And then, of course, from the brand standpoint, we have brand signs in the store, so you can really see what brands we have. We talk about ladies a lot, but I want to talk about juniors too.
Good.
Because even though juniors wasn't necessarily on this platform where we talked about it often in any of our, VP gatherings, we kind of took that same approach to the junior business because it's also in the front. We took the junior signs down, right? So now you have, any woman can shop either pad. And that made a difference. We also increased our brands there. When I started, I didn't have juniors, but our branded penetration was probably like 10%. We really didn't have a lot of brands. It was, it's easy. In juniors, it's fast fashion. And so we took that same approach there and said, okay, how can we add brands in juniors? There's a reason for it. There's denim. There's department store product, dresses. And within that same 2-year time period, the junior team also did the same thing. And they're around 50 or actually 60% branded now. So if you think about that elevation on that side of the floor, what have we done to the entire ladies pad? Because now we can dress everyone from, teenager to, someone in their 20s, any age, and they can shop any part of the floor. It doesn't matter. It's just your fashion sensibility. So I'm really proud of what we've done with that business too. You'll see a lot of department store brands in our dress assortment. I just walked the floor the other day and I was telling the junior team they've done an excellent job. I feel like anyone can shop there. You can find different price points that meet your needs, everything. So even, the junior side of the business, when you think about that front ladies pad has evolved. Yeah, tremendously.
Cool. Yeah. This is exciting because we have 600 stores that get to meet the VP GMM of merchandising within ladies from Bealls, and you've been doing this for a few years, and I think it's just fantastic to be able to put a name with a face of, you are really the face of ladies, female apparel within Bealls. But the really exciting thing, I think, is when you look at the Bealls Florida business, and now we've got this merging of the two companies and under One Bealls, and so it's really entirely new leadership for that group of 60 plus stores, and a new vision and kind of bringing new life into the business. And there's going to be some changes that happen within ladies apparel on the Bealls Florida side as well. So if you're speaking to those 60 store managers and that group of people in stores in Bealls Florida, what would you say? What are going to be the changes that they can expect to see on their floor? Like, kind of, what's your vision for Bealls Florida as we go forward?
That's exciting. So I met with some of the regionals last week and kind of gave them a preview also. But for ladies, we have a lot of our private brands on the floor, and we're looking to, I'll start there because that tends to be our strength. We're looking to even elevate and change those brands. So and ladies, we have Benulu, we have Coral Bay, we have Blue Soul. And so we've already found actually some new vendors to do business with so that we can provide just a fresher assortment. We want to provide her more assortment and something fresher. So I showed some of the samples and they got really excited last week. So you'll see a change in Coral Bay. You'll see some additional categories in Coral Bay. And then the same with Blue Soul. You'll see a change. It'll be more focused and definitely more fashion forward. And so we're really excited for that guest. But then when I think about the brands that we'll have in the store, we're really forcing the change there because we were probably I want to say we were 20% branded in Bells, Florida, when you look at our better brands. And so we're forcing that number to be closer to 55% because we really think it should be higher than Bells. It's a more elevated experience. We have a different merchandising experience in that store. So the team has moved mountains. They are working so hard. I can just tell you they're working hard every day. And so we even made a list of all the brands that were opportunities to add. And so we did that. And so the store managers can expect to see brands in the store. They can expect to see even a fresher assortment within our private brand. And then the other piece of it, which is really exciting because I've always thought about this for Bells, Florida in general, is just adding this, I guess, resort product. And I always think of it. Do you ever go to the Tampa airport?
Oh, sure. Yeah.
And you know, the
Too
Flamingo,
often.
and there's a store there, like a shop there at that, right by that Flamingo. And they have surf brands and Tommy Bahama and all and I stop there all the time, every time I go to the airport. No matter if it's 6 a.m. or whatever. And those are the brands that I want to bring to our store. So it's a lot of brands that maybe not everyone knows. They're not all national brands like a Tommy Bahama or surf brands, but it's incredible fashion. And so we just did a trade show in Orlando, the surf show, and I was really expecting to just see surf brands, just see swim brands, and I was really excited to see that there were some apparel brands there too. It seems like they're evolving that show to offer more kind of resort wear apparel brands. So, and then the team goes to Magic and other trade shows too. So that's going to be another layer that you'll see in Bells, Florida that you really won't see in a big way in Bells. And it could be elevated price points too. But it's beautiful product that you would normally see at that kind of shop, or maybe if you were to go on vacation and go to a resort and have like a cute little resort shop, that sort of thing. So that's kind of what I'm looking to bring to Bells, Florida, which will really differentiate us from anyone in the market because no one really carries that except for, you know, a smaller store, a smaller boutique. So those are kind of the three things that we're thinking of between our private brand and strengthening that, strengthening Real Legends, growing that. We just had a meeting yesterday, the true brand piece, and then the sort of Florida Live Life in the Sun brands. So that they should see those three capsules really change in a big way. In the future. So, and everyone's working to get this done as soon as they can. So, so you'll see the difference within probably just a couple of months, really.
Good,
Yeah.
good. Yeah, it's exciting. And I know it'll continue to evolve over the years even. And
yes.
Everybody wants to get there now, you know, and I know everybody's working so hard, but the evolution will continue to get better over the next several years, I know, for the entire company.
Exactly. You have to set your goals here to be able to get there. You know, you may not get there right away. And that's what I tell people, you know, just when anyone gets stressed is we're not going to get there right away. We want to, but you set your goals up here because then that's how you grow. Yep. And you'll continue to move the needle. And then once you get there, you ring a little bell and then you go further, ring a bell, and that's it. But you celebrate your accomplishments. And then you create new goals for yourself. You don't really stop there. Yeah. But that's life. That's life in our industry. You know, we continue to change and evolve. So it's fun. Yep. You never get bored.
Right. That's for sure. Not in retail. No.
Yeah.
Well, that's awesome. So that's kind of like from an in-store perspective, you know, what we can look forward to in terms of the change and what's coming and vision and love it. What has it been like from a corporate standpoint, or from like in your building, from a merging of the two groups and kind of coming together from a people standpoint? What has that process been like?
It's been great. I could say even before we did this, our teams were speaking to each other. Even if they were on different floors, they were kind of, just calling each other, getting advice, do you know about this vendor, et cetera. So they knew each other. So that helped. And then when we kind of all were on one team together, all on the same floor, they all adapted pretty quickly. They really did. They all started going to market together. They have all their meetings together. I can see them with their DMMs all together in a group. They're in market together. And it's really a beautiful thing to see because the communication is a lot easier now. You know, they don't feel like, it's another meeting to go talk to their counterpart. We're all right there, and they're all talking to each other. So I think they all adapted very well. There's and also helping each other with challenges, because there's still challenges in the market where people don't understand. People will continue to ask questions about what the difference is, and they don't fully understand. So we're there as one unit, explaining it to them. And so I think that's even strengthened our relationships in the market.
Nice.
And it'll continue. But they all did very well with adapting.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. Good.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I guess, in terms of trend in the two businesses, and spotting trends, and before we even get to trend, the pace
Yeah.
for an off-price merchant is different than the pace for what has been historically a department store business, which is now obviously moving more towards value, and we're there. And it's you hate to call it off price. I like on price a lot better
Yes,
than I
you've
like
said
off
that.
price.
Yeah.
I think that's really what the business is. It's at the right value for the guest, and off price just makes it sound like it's like seconds or something when it's really not.
I know.
But the pace at which the two companies operate, the Bells Florida there's a lot of that kind of buying well in advance of need in their DNA and their history, where a lot of times it's imports, and you're buying 9 months in advance, and you're placing bulk orders for delivery next July or whatever.
Yeah.
And in off price, you're buying much closer to need. You're constantly in the market. You're making deals. You're getting phone calls from people that have these great off price deals. You're working it into your open to buy.
Yeah.
Much quicker. It's just it's historically been a much faster moving business model. And what has it been like for merchants to from the Bells Florida side specifically, to kind of adjust and adapt to that fast-paced business model?
Yeah, very good question. So one of the things that we did is we have our Monday meetings where it's typically the GMM, DMM, Divisional Merchandise Manager, and planners on the call, and we'll go through the business for a while. I don't know, maybe it takes us maybe about 4 hours to just discuss it and go through opportunities. And I made a decision to bring the buyers onto the call. And the reason I wanted to do that is because I wanted them to be a part of that. I wanted them to be a part of the conversations in real time about the business, because I felt like it would help reinforce those off-price principles. So all the buyers are on the call. And so what we talk about on that call is, what are you going after? What's working in your business? Did you reorder it? That sort of thing, just to kind of reinforce it every week. And that's been helpful. So everyone's on the call. And so we have those conversations, and, it's come up with, oh, okay, that vendor doesn't have anymore. I can't reorder it. Okay, well, who else has something like it? We call them sisters and cousins. Is there something that looks like it that's out there? Or can you do it with a different label? And we've been able to kind of talk through those things on that call, which I thought was very insightful, because, and it's, good for them too, to see kind of all the different things that we think about when it comes to chasing your business in the moment. So that's been helpful to get them on board with thinking about off price and the pace. And then we just have conversations. I mean, I just had, a queue review with some of the buyers, and, kind of looking at their queues, and how do we even, not even just the pace and what you have to buy for immediate, but then also how you have to strategize the future, because it's not all going to be bought up front, but you're going to need to get some closeout deals and put some of that in our packaway facility. And how do we utilize that more so that we can drive business later, because that's also a part of off price. So we had that conversation, and all the different ways that we, do that. And it's, all very creative. And so I thought that was, really helpful for them too, to kind of understand. And then another way that we just encourage everyone to think about off-price and closeouts and getting deals is we talk about it every week. We have, a thing where we have deals of the week, and they, are able to highlight what their deals were for the week. And it's been exciting. Honestly, I'm really proud of them. I was just telling the dress buyer, like, she's getting deals every week, and this is a Bells Florida buyer, and she's excited and just energized behind it. So they're adapting very well, and I think just including them in on the conversations that we have, instead of it just being, It felt like for a while where we were behind closed doors and, because we're on a Teams meeting, everyone's in a different, state or wherever. And then we come out and then they hear what happened. And I wanted them to be a part of the conversation. I don't want it to be, oh, management had a meeting and then this is what came of it. I want them to be a part of that and telling us what they think we should invest in or what's working for them and what they want to go after. And it's exciting for me too to hear from them what they're seeing and hearing in the market too. So I think that's brought some new energy to the team too to kind of get them on board. But I want to say probably those couple of things have been getting them there.
Yeah. Love it. Great. Yeah. Great response. Thank you. Shifting gears a little bit. What about AI? How is that kind of begun to be adopted and now, and then kind of where do you see that helping you in the future?
So adoption today, I don't think we're there yet. For myself, I'm trying to use it more, but in the future, I think it's going to help us tremendously. I mean, we just had the ERB leadership team present to us an amazing presentation of what the future can look like for merchants. I think, when we, think about our week or what we do in a month, AI is going to help us because it'll help us look at our business a lot faster, come to conclusions a lot faster, and then be able to action. So it's probably cutting down that time of analysis and increasing your time of being able to action on things. And our teams especially, they have a lot on their plate. So I think this will really help them get through the week. So it'll be tremendous for the buyers for sure. They talked about even like a dashboard where they can kind of see everything and summarize all their reports, and it'll be a lot easier to reorder. Things like that is what we're going to need to incorporate. The way that I've incorporated into, I would say my day is, it's probably not on a daily use. It's more project based that I do it. I tested it out to help me with coming up with a budget, like a travel budget, and it helped me. So, but I have to play with it a little bit more because the more you do it, the more it gets to know you and what you need, and it can help you, a lot easier. So, I've used it minimally in just my personal and for work, but I'm kind of testing it out to see what I can do now that I can help roll out to the teams of certain things that they're doing. And I was just even in a meeting. We were doing a private brand meeting, and some of the images that they pulled together were AI that they did, and it looked amazing. And then I also have a meeting in a couple weeks with one of the trend forecasting companies that we use, and I have the DMMs on it. But they're also going to help us understand how we can do our trend boards. The DMMs spend a lot of time on those trend boards. They spend hours on it, and they pull images from the website on their own. And so this company is going to help us figure out how to use AI even on their platform to be able to pull these images together faster. And I think in the future, that's what we'll have to do for even our next round of them is I want to be able to utilize AI to pull it so that we're not spending hours on pulling these trend boards together.
Right.
So that's something that we can really implement right away, that we don't really have to wait for a platform to do, but that's something that we can do right away.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. Yeah. Yeah, it does seem just completely critical for everybody to begin to use it and get familiar with it and see how it can help them on an individual, personal level, and just begin to interact with it so that we don't become irrelevant, because in just a few years, we're going to have in our pockets the smartest human being on the planet, and we're going to be interacting with that thing, and it's going to help us all make better decisions and get smarter. But if we start at 100 and just kind of pick it up there without seeing and interacting with 1 to 99, we're going to be behind. We're not going to really probably understand the full capabilities immediately and how it can really help us. And I find just the way that I talk to it and ask it questions and the details that I provide, I've learned a lot from ChatGPT 1 to ChatGPT 5 in terms of how to best, frame questions and what informations to give so that it gives the ideal response.
Yes.
So I think it's critical for everybody to really adopt and to begin to use. And then it was like 0 to 1 was the light switch when it kind of came on, and we might be at 5 or 6 right now, but it's taken a couple of years to get there. But soon as it begins to learn and enhance its own capabilities and skills, it's just going to get to very, very high levels very, very quickly. And to be along for that ride and to understand the change is going to be critical for everybody. So as much as I can, I encourage our company to just embrace it, adopt it. It's going to be here. It's going to be in tools. It's going to be helping us from all different perspectives in ways that we can't even imagine today. From merchant perspective to helping you understand what you need to buy more of, what you need to cancel. It'll what at the location level, what stores need exactly what. When seasonal transitions that we may today not have great. We might be forcing from a human standpoint what we think is right, but we probably don't still after 110 years have seasonal transitions right, by location for sure. So it's going to be able to just really, really help and I know that it's already, we're starting to adopt it in places and on software solutions and in planning and allocation, of course, now with Mark Crystal's Profit Mind. I know that's going to be super helpful. It's one of those things that we've really got to continue to be on the forefront of, because if we're not, we're going to be irrelevant.
Exactly. And I can feel it. I can feel we're on that brink of change, and I do feel like it will be here upon us, and it really is here now. But I think especially this year is going to be the year where we're going to see people using it a lot more. And as soon as we're able to get even additional tools, and I think people are very open to it also. I really don't think that people are fearful at all. I think they just need the time to really understand it. And you really have to force yourself to use it and play around with it, because that's the only way you're going to get better at it. Right. But I think people are open to it. So I think this is just another thing that we're going to have to tackle this year. But I think people are very open and excited about it.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
Me too.
Yeah, it'd be good.
Yeah, for sure. So then I guess in terms of just the next few years and what to expect from the ladies division in general, I mean, I guess we've kind of covered it, in terms of the change that's going to be happening, but it's more brands, it's better brands, it's faster, it's more integration. What else is on your mind for that?
I would say just appealing to a broader variety of audiences. That's really the end goal. When you think about, we talk about brands and penetration and all that stuff, but all that is to bring us to the end of how do we just appeal to a broader customer? How do we get everyone interested to come to Bealls? How do they know our name? Want to come to our store, and whether it's Bealls or Bealls Florida. And so that's what you can see, in the future for ladies is an additional customer that we're looking to gain. We want to continue to keep the customer, our core customer that we have. We want to keep her happy, but then how do we gain a new customer? And I think that's what we're doing when we keep layering additional brands or categories or certain fashion sensibilities. That's what we're looking to do. So anyone can shop at Bealls. That's my goal in mind. Love it. Anyone will be able to.
Yep. Awesome. Yeah. And then maybe one of the last questions is just looking forward into the future farther. What like 10 years from now, 12 years from now, what kind of a store experience do you see a successful on-price retailer? What does that shopping experience look like for a guest 10 or 12 years from now?
Oh, interesting. Because who knows what'll be around, what technology will be around too.
Right.
Who knows? People probably have like shopping glasses where it tells you, what it is that you're looking for, and you can spot it, all over the store. But I think integrating technology is what I see in the future. If you think 10 years from now and how fast technology changes, I think we'll be able to help people shop faster, efficient, being able to find what they need, and just meet their needs. Because I think that's ultimately what we want to do, is meet people's needs. And so if there's a way through technology that we're able to do that, I see that in the future. But then I also think about experiences in the store. You see a lot of this happening with certain stores, like Dick's Sporting Goods, with all the experiences that they have now in the store. So what can we do that that kind of resonates with our guests that we can put in the store, whether it's Bells, Florida, with some sort of live life local experience in our store, or whether it's something else. But I just think about experiences, and this came up with us. We were merchants. I think we were just traveling in Texas or something, and we were in one of the stores, and they were like, "Oh, this is a shop, but it's also an experience, and you can kind of create your own hat with patches," and it was just more personalized. So I just think if there's ever a way that we could do something to help a customer, have a little fun while they're shopping too, and offer a different experience for them to kind of, stick around for a little longer. They find what they need, but they come for the fun. So that's, and I think, integrating technology with that is kind of what the future of shopping will be like. You see malls doing it all the time now. It's not just stores, people come for an experience there too. So I think that's the future of shopping.
Love it. Yeah, cool. Yeah, I agree
general.
with you. I agree. Yeah, more experiential. Definitely technology heavy, and it feels like I'm envisioning this crazy store environment, and I don't know if it's 10 years from now or 20 years from now, but I don't think the logistics network will necessarily change so much. I think we're still going to be delivering to stock rooms with trucks, but then they come off of the truck and enter onto this rail system, and this is crazy. But the rail system then is kind of like RFID, where every item is already known what it is, and it's tagged, and the stuff goes from the truck to this rail system. The rail system heads out from the stock room to the kind of the side walls of the stores, and you don't really see the rail system behind these faux walls, and then it shoots every item out to a specific location in the store where it belongs. And I still think it'll be based on size. And I think within that sized shopping experience, you're going to have specific either brands or lifestyles that people will be able to go to. But that it'll all be automated based on technology and AI controlling the product and controlling the store assortment, and to be able to move individual hangers around within the stores, just machines doing all of this for us and setting up the store. In the shopping experience for the guest, and keeping track of everything, shrink and sell. And of course, by the time you get the merchandise, you're not walking past I still want to have people in the stores, but I think biometrics, you're going to be able to just walk out, and this is already happening today to some degree. You just walk out with the product.
Yeah,
and you're
the Amazon store.
It's just scanned on your way out. Whether that's whatever type of biometric that is. Who knows what currency even looks like 20 years from now, and with what AI is going to do to just everything.
Yes.
It's going to be difficult to imagine 20 years from now.
But no, I think that's interesting, and I like that you said you still want people, because then our associates can kind of focus on people in the store.
Right.
You're still, I think, going to need that human touch.
Exactly.
And
that's why you go to the store in the first place.
Yes, you need the human touch. I think we all, feel good when we go to a store, when someone, we have a conversation, and, they help us find something. You still need that human connection. I think we all need it as humans. So, I think that'll be interesting, what the shopping experience will be like in the future. Too. And I think we'll just be able to work smarter.
Right.
That's why no one should really be afraid of any of this. We'll be able to work smarter, not harder. I just think it's so interesting. My husband is a senior software engineer. He's been talking about this for years. And I've been like, oh, that's great. At dinner, like, oh, that's so cute. The AI thing. I mean, this is years ago. And now it's here. And I'm like, wow, I'm really actually paying attention to it now. So
Right.
It's just interesting. But I have no idea what the future holds. But I think that's what it'll look like.
Yeah.
And we'll just all, work smarter.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
Have more time to
Yep.
do the things we want to do.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, great conversation. It's exciting. When you showed up today, I was not surprised, but just kind of had to laugh because our outfits match perfectly.
Yes.
And
not planned.
Not planned.
Yeah.
But it seems to happen way too often with me when I'm doing these podcasts with guests. It's like we show up and it's like, what?
And
like,
I've never been in here, so I didn't know I was going to match the decor either.
Right, exactly. But it worked out great.
It did.
Obviously, with your fashion experience and background, I must be on point here today. So
You are.
Awesome.
A+.
Well, good. Well, thank you so much. It was great to chat with you, Tracy. I know
Thank you.
really appreciate what you do for Bealls. You're such a professional and a wonderful leader and a wonderful person, and just do a tremendous job for the company.
Thank you. I really love working here, and
Awesome.
Thank you so much for the invite. I appreciate it.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Very good. Well, we'll wrap it with that.
Okay.
All
Thank
right.
you.
All right. Yep. Thank you.